Hello and welcome to UAT Time within the United Countries special by First Ukraine. You can find us on the frequencies available on our website firstua.com. I'm Sergei Velichansky.
And I am Volodymyr Polevyj. UAT Time is dedicated to bring Ukraine and Europe closer to each other by introducing the real Ukraine to the rest of the world.
For a year and a half, foreigners have fought alongside Ukrainians protecting the sovereignty of Ukraine. What is their status in the face of international law?
Our guest today is Volodymyr Polevyj, the deputy head of the Informational Analytical Center for National Security of Ukraine.
Well, first of all, welcome back. It's great that you have stopped again for a cup of tea. But now, what is this happening with this new law? From one side, it was accepted, adopted, and it's great. But there are some drawbacks with that. Well, tell us what's the status right now with the law?
Okay, right now it is not the law exactly, because it has only the status of a bill. To become a law, it must be assigned by the President of Ukraine.
All right. And
here is the next stage for this bill.
So the Parliament already voted?
Voted, yes.
And supported, so we are fine on that stage.
Absolutely.
Now we're waiting on the President.
Yes.
Okay. So what does it do? We know that there's a certain amount of foreigners have been killed in the fights in the war, and some of them are wounded, and some of them are from Russia and Belarus that cannot go back. Mm-hmm. So, give us a little more information on. Mm-hmm.
To my mind, there are two sides of reasons to have this law. From one side, it is we will receive some possibilities to Ukraine. Mm-hmm. First of all, Ukraine will receive the possibility to hire professionals from foreigners to increase our army ability. Mm-hmm. The second is that, in fact, we have a problem with the illegal activity of foreigners on our front line according to the current law, because it's a criminal activity if we read our criminal code, for example. And the third that we have really recognized the mobilization problem in Ukraine. And in case when we have such a problem, we could hire foreigners to support our army. And from the other side, the foreigners which are there, and as you said, which couldn't back to their homeland, for example, to Russia and to Belarus, need to resolve their problems, and it is another reason to approve this law.
Okay, so it does give the instrumental for them to solve their personal issues, right? Like, for instance, what if they lost their documents in the battlefield? Does this law provide all the
such possibilities for them? Yes. I understand your question, and it is really sharp question, which I heard not at first time. But you must understand that we approved this law for the future. Okay. Not for the previous time. And unfortunately, this law couldn't resolve all the problem of these people. Because they really have the problem with our, for example, migration services, or some problems with our law enforcement forces. And in each case, the state should take an investigation of the activity of such persons, and only after that implement the decision about this person.
Okay. Well, thankfully, there are not that many. Like what I've heard, numbers of what, 300 or so foreigners in general.
Last summer, I mean the summer of 2014, it was about 200 foreigners on our front line. And after that, this number declined.
Okay. So I would assume the relative agencies will be able to handle the situation. I mean, take each case individually and really investigate and take it into the consideration.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys came to protect our country.
That's why this law is here, and to help.
But for the future, what I'm saying is I'm concerned about those that have already, I mean, in the crucial time when there was, I mean,
but as Volodymyr said, they will see each person by each person.
I hope.
And I want to emphasize that this law will resolve the problem for about 80% of these persons.
Okay.
And we will have only near the 10% of the persons with some problems with the immigration or with the violence on the east and so on. And only these 10 persons, it's really some dozens of people which have a problem with our legislation today.
Okay. Well, I'm excited about this.
It's not too much, you know. Ukraine is in a period of war, and to have a problem only with 1 dozen or 2 dozen of people, it's not a lot, really. It's not a lot.
Well, I mean, yes, okay. So where are we right now? For instance, like with the number you said, the 200 plus people, it doesn't include all those NATO legions that supposedly have been seen in the Donbass area. I mean, all those squads that have come from the West, supposedly. Well, yeah.
No, that was a joke of the Russian propaganda, of course. Only 200, maybe 300 foreigners. This is not NATO legion. Come on.
Yeah.
I think we can speak about the people from Georgia, people from Poland, from Chechnya, from Belarus, and from Russia, who fought on the east. And everyone has their own motivation to fight, but the common thing is they were fighting against the common enemy for all of these countries and for all of these people. It is strict motivation to serve in the Ukrainian army.
Well, but I'm excited that the parliament supported the law, but now I want to address the question of the obstacles. What were the obstacles? Because it took so long for us to, to deal with the law and to have some progress in that.
Yes, we had prepared this law in February of 2015, and only in April, only in May was the first vote, and only in October was the second one, the last one vote. What were the reasons? First of all, it's not an easy problem for our government, and it wasn't a government bill. We work as a team of non-government organization together with the National Committee and Defense, National Defense and National Security and Defense Committee of our Parliament. At first, we spoke with the deputies and to promote for them this problem. And after we obtained the support from the deputies, we start to work with our team of lawyers and experts. And I'm really thank you for the Olivier Vedrin, which was really excellent expert from, for example, French Foreign Legion. And the second person which was personally responsible for this law was Irina Loiko from the so-called judicial regiment. It is another kind of volunteers, no government organization in Ukraine. And we work close to the Dmitry Timchuk team in our national Security and Defense Committee, and thanks for all of these people, we approved this bill.
Okay. And you know, last week we were together in front of the Rada,
yes,
with some friends, and we waited for the law.
I saw the pictures.
Yes,
it's great.
It was some kind of street actions in support of this. Of this
and
bill.
we met a lot of soldiers from regiments who are now in the Donbass, and some association of officers of the Ukrainian army, and that was a very nice moment. And after that, in the middle of the day, I went to the university to give a conference, and Volodymyr sent me an SMS say the law is voted. Okay. And during the conference, I said, oh, yes.
Well,
I was very happy.
It's good to see the results. It's good that things like this happen. And now, let's look into the future. What does this law provide us? What can we do? Are we planning on maybe creating a foreign legion like the French, foreign legion, or what do you think? What could be the tendencies? How could this law be used?
First of all, we are waiting for a president assignment.
Okay.
And after that, I think it will be some logic like this, that the first step when Ukraine will hire only a few professionals from other countries. For example, for our counter-mortar radars, if you heard about this, supplies, for our communication systems.
For some strategic points, right?
Yes, for the center and units for the communication with, for example, NATO forces. Because it is really hard to learn to study all of these people, and sometimes it's easier to hire foreign professionals. And only after this, when we will have a success story of foreigners in our army, we will not have a barrier, obstacles inside our army to implement foreigners in their body, in their army, in their units. And only after this we could talk about the creation of so-called foreign legion in the Ukraine.
But you have to know that you have the French Foreign Legion, but you have also the Spanish Foreign Legion. And also in the US Army, in Marines Corps, you can join like a foreigner, some US military unit. Then that will be normal if Ukraine do the same. And also in Russia, you have a law for foreigner from former Soviet Union state. They
Not
can
only former Soviet Union.
not only former.
Just foreigners.
Foreigners can join as soldiers the Russian army.
Okay, so they have had that law
Yeah,
for a while.
and this law is from the 90s, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, okay, but I would say it's going to be quite a new challenge for our army because it has been quite, closed structure, which no foreigners were allowed in, and it would be difficult for a foreigner to adopt. In this case,
I think it would be more difficult for our army to adopt for foreigners.
that's what I hope that's going to happen. Seriously, I would hope that this is what is going to happen because
They just don't have an experience.
Well,
and that's all. But we have some professionals, some experts like Mr. Polevyj, for example, from NATO country, and NATO really wants to help Ukraine.
Okay.
And we should only to receive this help, this support from these West countries.
And that will be very good because that can prepare Ukraine to go to NATO, that can prepare Ukraine to
Yes.
go to EU, and one day we will have a European defense, and that can help also Ukraine to go to the European defense.
Okay.
And that's a way, that's a tool to help Ukraine to go to NATO and to go to the European defense.
Because what I hope, what will the new tendency, what will help happen is that foreign specialists, military specialists will come. They will influence the way we do things, the way we, what kind of solutions we use, what kind of systems in communications or provision of our troops and regiments, because most of the problems that in the past year and a half, what I've heard was, the bad provision for our soldiers, that are in the outposts, that do not have the food, the delivery, the uniform, and all that. I mean, at the same time, when all this was in the storages, they were still not, provided for and taken care of.
But that's normal because I always repeat that the previous government, Yanukovych, destroyed the Ukrainian army.
Yeah.
Totally destroyed the Ukrainian army. For an example, during the illegal and criminal annexion of Crimea, only 6,000 soldiers, Ukrainian soldiers, were in capacity to fight. Only 6,000, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Now, the Ukrainian army has 60,000 soldiers in capacity to fight. Can you imagine? This army was totally destroyed by Yanukovych government. This is a fact.
And I think that foreign unit, in case when we create it, we could be the marker of its, army efficiency. Because it is really higher standards for the foreigners, for such units in every army, and that is why we really need such units in our army.
That will push, the Ukrainian army to modernity. That will push the Ukrainian army to Europe, and that will push the Ukrainian army to NATO.
But do you think the army still need to maintain the way it's been all the time, by the drafts and all that, or should it become more volunteer and more personal decision to join the army, not be drafted when it, when you're
you want to
18.
talk about professional army?
Yeah.
Yeah. In UA, in European Union, more and more of our army are professional army now.
But in 2015, Lithuania started conscript army program again. Yes, because they had a professional army before, and before that they had an conscript army,
yes,
a conscript
like France,
like Soviet army.
Okay.
Then they had a professional army, and now they had both of them. One part is professional and another part is conscript. And this system is in Russian Federation. This system is in, for example, in Swiss, in Bundeswehr, in Germany, and this system is really good for Ukraine.
Okay.
I think we shouldn't talk about only a professional army, but we should have a part of conscript recruits in our army in the aim in the aim of quantity of our army, in the aim of to have thousands prepared people to protect Ukraine from Russian aggression, because Russian army is really huge. They have 1 million person in their army, and that is why it is really.
Yeah, in the case of Ukraine, I think this is the same for the Baltic states. They are afraid about Russia, and of course they need also conscript army, because you need number of soldiers. But for my country, France, we have only a professional army, because now on our borders everything is okay. No? But in the borders of Ukraine, of course, you have some problem, and the first one is with Russia. Then I think for the Ukrainian army, you need to continue conscript army for me.
Okay. Well, I would say that would be a good decision to have both for many different positions.
Remember that in the European Union, we were in France conscript army because of the Soviet Union. Because we were afraid about the Soviet Union, we had a conscript army. But when the Soviet Union collapsed, we became professional army.
Plus, you're part of NATO's.
Yes, we are part of NATO, of course.
Okay. So it's true. Now, well, we have a few minutes left, as always. But what do you think? What your future projects? What are you working on right now? And what once you have one project partially done, we're waiting on a president. But I'm sure there are some other challenges you're working with.
My non-government organization is working under the cybersecurity projects right now. But we still have a lot of work to be done for this law, for the foreigners in our Ukraine army. For example, many trains and many studies, many exchange programs could be studied after this law will be assigned by the president. And in all of this activity, we are ready to take part with such experts like Mr. Polevyj.
Thank you very much. If I can help you, I will. No problem.
It's good for me to be in the middle between the two experts like this. And seriously, thank you for doing what you do. It's awesome. I'm excited. Things step by step, things happen, and which is good. All right. It was United Country UAT time by First Ukraine. Our guest today was Volodymyr Polevyj, the deputy head of the Informational Analytical Center for National Security of Ukraine. Thanks for joining us for a cup of tea.
Olivier Vedrine and Sergei Velichansky were working for you in the studio. Stay with us and we will show to you the real Ukraine.
Thank you for being with us. Have a good day and see you soon.